Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Interview Mondays on Inspire SA. And welcome back to our new season. In fact, this is our first episode of Interview Mondays. And what best way to start it off with tech legends? Maybe I'll say tech legends is too much, but an inspirational figure in the tech world here in South Africa. And I can add a lot to his name and read out his resume, but that's gonna be really a lot to say because there's so many awards and things to go through. But I'm just gonna let him introduce himself, and without further ado, I would like to introduce Mixo Ngoveni. I'm having trouble pronouncing his name. Welcome. How would you pronounce your name? I've been struggling to say it since morning.
No worries. My name is Misho. Misho. So
Oh,
there is no on it. So yeah, it's Tonga. So it's Misho, and my surname is Ngoveni. And
Goweni.
I'm glad you didn't call me or you refrained from calling me a tech legend. So much pressure with such a title. But
Mm,
yeah, I'm definitely excited for this evening's chat and looking forward to it.
awesome, awesome. Welcome again. So now that's got it out of the way because I was pronouncing, am I supposed to pronounce the X or but me sure now. Now it's gonna be easier
Don't
for me.
worry, lots of people have issues with that, but you'll definitely know how to pronounce this after this session.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So to get started, we can start off with some lightweight questions, I guess. For me and for the viewers as well who don't really know you but have heard a lot about you on the social media, on magazine outlets and everything. Can you tell us more about yourself?
That's probably the hardest question I'll probably get today. It's easy to talk about everything else except myself.
Mm,
But yeah, let me give it a try. So I am, as you said, Misho. I love technology, and I've loved and technology for a very very long time. I think probably from my high school days. Loved lots of things with technology. Lots of enjoyed playing around with phones.
mm,
And then also got a massive passion for business. Um, Still learning a lot on the business front of things, but I've enjoyed the selling and trading part of it since I was in primary school. So I used to trade marbles, I used to trade Pokemon. Just some of the things that I used to do in tertiary. I did some cell phones, would sell cell phone covers, airtime, a whole bunch of stuff. So those are the two things I'm definitely passionate about. I love photography, so I love taking photos of nature, photos of things around me. I feel photography is like my other happy place, because I get to see and showcase the world according to how I see it through my lens. So
mm.
if I feel like giving some extra oomph to a picture by adding some filters here and there, that's how I see the world, and that's how I want the people around me to see. So those are the three things I'm definitely passionate about. I see you've got lots of blue here. I hope you're not a Chelsea fan. Uh, I'm a big menu fan. So if you're not menu, I think we might have a problem with the rest of the conversation. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm also a Kaiser Chiefs fan, and a Barcelona fan. Yeah. So soccer is my thing. Business, technology, and photography. Those are the major things that I really enjoy doing.
Awesome, awesome. Well, the blue is just for the theme of the channel, but as you mentioned, football over there, the Kaizer Chiefs we can agree upon because I'm also a fan myself. As for England and Spain, I'm a Liverpool and Real Madrid. So already,
Even
we are
worse. Even worse. But we'll make peace with it. We'll make peace with
true,
it.
true. Thanks for that. It's really insightful to know where everything started. They say small things like trading marbles, trading cards, and everything. It sounds small when you look at it, but if, in the long run, it's actually a useful skill to have when you look at a bigger picture. And I can see why you love the business side of things now.
Yeah,
um,
Yeah, it's still learning a lot around it. There's a lot that's still to learn, but so far, I think we're getting there.
Awesome. So you mentioned high school, that some of your inspiration came from high school. Can you tell us more about your schooling and education and where some of the passion started, if that's okay?
So I've been moving around a lot as a kid. So I'm originally from Limpopo, born in Guyana, but raised in a place called Ngoangoa. For those who don't know, it's at around Zanin. This is in Limpopo, so that's where I was raised. Did a bit of my primary there, did a bit of primary in Guyana, did a bit of primary in Zanin. Did high school in Merensky High School. So I went to Merensky High School, which was like a Blasi type of school in Zanin. So did my grade 8 and grade 9 there. Then I moved to Pretoria, and then in Pretoria, did my grade 10 to matric in a school called Akasha High School. So
Mm,
that's where I did my schooling in terms of high school. And then tertiary, I went to TUT. So I've only been to TUT. I did engineering at TUT for like, I think, a year, and then I dropped out, and I went to do business informatics because I just felt like business informatics was the right one for me because it fused the two things that I really enjoy, business and technology.
awesome, awesome. So where did the passion for tech come from?
I don't know. I guess it's a bit of curiosity. I guess a bit of curiosity, and I it was mostly built through my early years of sound engineering. So while I was still in primary, I'd go to church for sound engineering. I was not good at playing instruments, so in the team, in the worship team, I was like number 4 or 5 in the line in terms of playing the instrument. So I just opted for sound engineering. So I just got fascinated by sound engineering. Then wanted to learn more around it. That's why I went to do engineering, but I realized later on that that's not the kind of engineering I really wanted. But I think also it was fueled by curiosity around cell phones. How cell phones worked, and I just got fascinated by cell phones. So it's mostly those two elements that brought the tech enthusiasm. And I've always been a big Bill Gates fan. So it's just always like inspired by Bill Gates since very young, at a very young age.
Mm, wow, that's, what can I say? It's really intriguing because, like, no offense, but sound has nothing to do with technology, but it's really insightful to see how something outside of tech can actually bring you inside of tech. And that's
Mm,
what we see, especially today, because we're seeing accountants, business people coming into the tech world and doing that thing in their respective industry, as you've just mentioned now. So yeah. Moving on, I would like to. The topic of today is taking the next step by owning your own initiative. Can
sure.
you can you define it in your own words? Why like, I know I'm the one that came up with it, but can you define what what would you describe as owning your own initiative to you?
To me, owning your own initiative has probably two meanings to it. The straightforward one is owning something that you started, something that yeah, basically you started. But I think the more the more one that I resonate more is owning something that you're passionate with, owning your future, owning how things turn out for yourself. There's a lot
Mm,
of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of things that we might plan, but if you own it, it eventually comes in, and the moment it becomes your own initiative, you take care of it in a different manner. You want to see it grow. You want to see excel. You don't want anything harming it because it is something that you're passionate about, but it's something that you own. It's like a little babe. You want to take care of it all the way. So I think that's what it means to me in terms of owning your own initiative. It's owning something that you're definitely passionate about, owning your dreams, owning your goals, and putting as much effort as possible to making sure that that thing that you're owning or passionate about comes to life.
Awesome, awesome. Well said. Sorry about that. Well
No
said.
worries.
I was also thinking along the same way, defining it along the same line. And as you mentioned, taking care of it, something that belongs to you, like your little baby. So speaking about it, we'll be gonna be talking about more on what you have done throughout your career or throughout your tech journey till now. And we're just gonna share some stories, some insights here and there for to inspire those who are watching and how they can get started with their own, as well as face challenges that come about that way from you as well. So, as I really read through your resume, yeah, you've gone through the Imagine Microsoft Imagine Cup. Local finals. You've been nominated for the SAIE as one of tomorrow's leaders, and you became one of the 30 youth villages most inspirational young leaders. And Soweto top 100 bosses. The list goes on, and I'm like, where did all of this come from? Where did all of this start? All of this had to start with an initiative. Can you tell us about it? I know there's a lot. You can even mention Microsoft Imagine Cup Finals as an example to tell us more about it.
I think a lot of stuff starts with the Microsoft Student Partner Initiative. And I say it starts with that because it goes back to what you said in terms of the theme, owning your own initiative. That opened a lot of doors for me. I was in high school, I was in university at TUT, and the way I got that opportunity was actually quite interesting. When we're doing our third year projects, our projects, mine was very far from our, or at least our team's one was far from being selected. One particular girl got selected, and then they decided to drop out. And then when they drop out, it was still not us in line. It was another girl. She got the opportunity, and she was supposed to go to the Imagine Cup, and then she dropped out. And she's like, "Look, Misha." Actually, she called me through and said, "Let's be partners on it," and I accepted it. And then she dropped out right at the last minute, and I was there alone. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe something is happening here. When things are meant for you, they will happen. And that's how we came about. That's how we came about doing it and making it happen. And through the Imagine Cup, I learned a lot of things, connected with a whole bunch of people. Learned from it, learned about. It was the first time I was learning about cloud computing. Um, it was the first time I learned about it. I was not sure what cloud computing was. I didn't understand how can you have computers in the cloud. So that's where it really started, and from there, got selected by Microsoft. The next year, they gave me an opportunity. They asked because I went to them and I said, "Look, my institution is not exposed to all these opportunities that you have. My fellow students are not exposed to it. We need to bring it back to TUT." And then they selected me, I think it was in 2011, they selected me as one of the six Microsoft student partners in South Africa. So my role was to represent TUT. And what was interesting again is I'm not from a technical software background. I'm from a business informatics background, and majority of the students that were selected were more technical. So technically, they were beating me. From it was a time of Windows Phone apps. They were good in building Windows Phone apps. But once again, I was like, okay, how do I take advantage of this opportunity and make something out of it? And that's why I figured, look, one thing they definitely cannot beat me is building communities. So I started building communities as much as they were able to educate people on how to build apps. I was able to build communities, strong communities within my campus. And then that's where an initiative called Innovators.it was started. It's a Facebook group. And the idea was to, share information from Microsoft with my fellow TUT students, the group started growing. It started growing outside TUT to other institutions, and the conversation started changing from Microsoft to almost anything tech related. I felt a little bit about like the times of Mark Zuckerberg and the Google guys, growing this community. So that's where a lot of stuff really happened. And the rest of the stuff, I think it happened, but I think it was mostly driven by passion, with passion of helping people, passion of sharing opportunities. But I definitely did not do a lot of these things alone. There have been a lot of amazing people on the journey who opened doors for me, who came through and helped, to build what we currently have, helped to build the community that we have. So definitely, it hasn't been a one-person journey. That's why all the individual accolades, they're great, but they wouldn't be there without the amazing people that have been behind and supportive with the things that we do.
Awesome, awesome. Um, that's really, really inspiring how one project started a chain reaction, I can say,
Yeah.
of to where you are today. And that's really, really inspiring. I'm still can't believe that you got him. You participated in the Microsoft Imagine Cup. Like I'm even wearing the shirt now. I got they delivered it to me, but I haven't participated in it, and it's kind of sad because we have all these technologies around here, and it really takes guts and a great idea to just participate in it, and you did. So what can you advise to people like me and to others who have all these resources and have like a great idea, but they are doubting themselves to participate in the Imagine Cup? Like you said,
I mean,
you kind of said you got it by fluke because you are like third choice. Yeah, there, third choice. But
I
yeah.
definitely got it by fluke, but I think in the bigger scheme of things, it's one of those things that if it was meant for you, fluke or not, you are gonna get it. So definitely lots of luck on my end, but I capitalized on it. I think initiatives like the Microsoft Imagine Cup are great. You learn a lot. They don't do it as much as they used to then, but then they would teach you a lot of things, not just from a technical side. There were
Mm,
different elements to how to build solutions, how to take solutions to market. They were helping young people build startups, not just learn about the technical stuff. And that's where an initiative like Geek Culture was started to say, look, there's so many of these opportunities out there. How do we bring them closer to young people? How do we make young people more aware of them? And that's really the first part of what we do, making people aware of what's out there, making people know what is out there so that they can capitalize on it. The first part is make sure we bring the stuff closer to the people, make them aware of the stuff so that they can capitalize on it. Then, it's up to you as an individual to decide what you want to do with it. We
mm,
obviously cannot force you there, but young people should grab as many opportunities out there. It's not just the MSP program. It's not just Imagine Cup. There's a lot of stuff being done by Google. Geek Culture has its own Geek Culture Student Societies. IBM has its own IBM ambassador program. There's a lot of these various opportunities that young people should do. And one thing that I think it did for a lot of us during that period of 2011 to maybe 2014, 2013. One of the biggest thing it did for us, it opened massive opportunities. I can think about a lot of the young people that took part in such initiatives. They got lots of opportunities from Microsoft. If it's not Microsoft, it's Microsoft partners. So you got close to the companies while you're still in university. And when you start looking for jobs, you don't look too far because they already know who you are. They already know what you're capable of doing. I mean, some of them were leading. Some of them are even now leading bigger roles and within Microsoft.
mm.
And there's also things like what Facebook does as well. Some of them have grabbed those opportunities and worked for Facebook. So it's just a matter of grab the opportunities, grab as many as possible. Some of these opportunities, most of them actually, they don't pay you cash wise. You get the swag, There's two of us on this call now. You might get the swag, but I might not get the swag. I might get the swag. It's about what do you do with the opportunity. So if you just say, okay, well, I got the swag and ends there, maybe I go and I network with Microsoft employees. I network with people within Microsoft, their partners. I get to find out a lot more. My opportunities become bigger and much more wider. I can grab more opportunities that way. And I think that's what most young people fail to do. They focus a lot on the academic side of things. There's nothing wrong with that. But they focus a lot on the academic side of things. And sometimes academic side has a lot of theoretical stuff. Where else, if you make one thing I did is I made a list of companies I wanted to work with. So my path was different. It was not too much about I want to work for, but more like I want to work with. So you just design your path. You just grab as many of these opportunities, bang on the doors. Now it's much easier actually. You've got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram. You can just DM these people. You've got LinkedIn. There's so many options. Beyond university, and the world that we live in, it's no longer about too much your academic record. It's about have you networked? Have you created a pipeline for yourself? Have you opened opportunities for yourself? And that's why I think people should grab such opportunities.
Wow, wow, really, really, really inspiring. In fact, you give me some food of thought for myself to take in, because even us, as you said, first of all, to the viewers, Misho mentioned some good opportunities for you to take a look at the Microsoft, the Google Developer Club, and even Geek Culture themselves, which we will be talking about just now. So don't hesitate to take a look at that. And yeah, like I said, really some food for thought for myself and for the viewers as well who are watching, to just salvage the opportunity while it's there. Because that's
Exactly.
the problem with us today. We look at the now, we don't look at the tomorrow or the future. I got the sweat kit now, let me stop there. I got gold, let me stop there. No, like you said, you have to look behind what is being seen, as to reiterate your point. Really insightful, thanks for that, and
No
also the
worries.
viewers as well. So what are some of the challenges that you faced? Because even myself running this initiative, Inspire SA, to teach technology to help prepare people for the fourth industrial revolution by keeping them up to date with the latest technology. We have challenges. Some people are not
Mm.
engaging. It's not People are not reacting the way we're supposed to. Some people are not accessing our videos. All of these are challenges that we face as Inspire SA team. But what
Mm.
are some of your challenges that you faced and took a lesson from it that you'll be willing to share with other people?
All right. So there's a lot we learned from Geek in terms of building communities. Um, yeah, maybe let me just say some of the secret sauce. um, so it's one thing trying to go for big numbers. Yes, you can have thousands of people, but it's about how do you add value to them. So
Mhm.
if you have 1,000 people and you're not adding any value to them, you might just as well not necessarily have them. And personally, I prefer this Facebook rule that I kind of like figured some time back. Technically, everyone on Facebook has 100 plus followers or people that are following them or friends, right? Within that 100, each 100 of those has another 100. So there's already some chain going on there, right? And if you go back to your first 100, not everybody who's your 100 friends is gonna like whatever you do. Maybe 50 will like, maybe even less, 30 will like it. Those that like, not all of them will be interested and show interest. Maybe 10 will be the real followers and get engaged. But the main thing is add value to those 10. Add proper value. Make sure that those 10 are growing and they see real value. The moment they see real value, they become your advocates. right? So they go back to their 100 followers and they start creating this advocacy thing that's going on, and it becomes a movement. And this movement is done somewhere, somehow growing without you, because people then become your advocate. So I'd say the critical thing is, let's not really chase numbers. Let's add value to people. Let's bring opportunities to people. That's what community is about. If you really think about community, is about the closeness of things. It's just that togetherness. It's a movement of people like-minded. So the more you add value to people within that circle, the more someone will go and tell someone outside that circle, or the more people outside that circle get to see and they'll wonder, okay, what's actually going on here? Then they'll come in and start being curious and want to go in, and then it starts spreading like that. But when there's no value, it's very easy for people to not get involved. It's very easy for people to stay away. But it's also important to learn you can't be a solution or everything to everyone. There are certain people that unfortunately there's no match, and that's where they will drop off. It's okay. And sometimes it's good to have such people drop off, because they sometimes might have a negative effect, because it just doesn't speak to them. But sometimes you might be preaching to the wrong people, and it just goes sideways. So it's always great to have people that have the same interest. But I'll just emphasize on adding value to people. Make sure you add as much value to people. That way, it makes more people want to engage with it. And sometimes they might not come back and praise you, which is fine. You shouldn't necessarily do this for praise. Um, Sometimes they might not even thank you. Uh, we've had a lot of people that don't really, they won't come back and thank you, even though opportunities have opened for them, which is perfectly fine. The main thing is why you're doing what you're doing. The aim is to grow people. The aim is to open opportunities for certain people. And if they grow, then it's a win for you. So those are the lessons I can actually share with you guys in terms of growing your community. And but also, it's one thing trying to play the good Samaritan. It's also work you have to put in. You know,
Yeah.
um, you have to make sure there's branding that's visible. You have to compete with everybody. You have to check, okay, what is everybody else doing? What is the interest? You have to create content for your particular audience. It's one thing. I can, for example, we're talking soccer, and if you and I are not interested in the same sport, we'll like not necessarily click. So you need to also be able to communicate the same language with the people, understand the latest trends. A lot of our stuff started before Twitter was there, so it was Facebook. We went from Facebook and we're testing all these things. If you check Gikacha's account, most of these accounts were open right in the early ages, because it was like, okay, cool, there's this, let's test it. We tried Snapchat. It was not for us. Still battling with TikTok, but it's also understanding where's your audience. You can't just say, well, we're just going to jump on a particular platform because, well, everybody's doing it. You need to understand these different platforms. You need to also move with the times, but you also need to be okay with accepting that you can't do everything. There's certain people and collaboration. One of the things that I think most communities in SA do, they don't collaborate. I won't talk outside South Africa. I'll just talk from a South African point of view. They don't collaborate. It's always, it's my thing, my brand. I want to be known as the leaders of this thing. And what we've learned is there's nothing wrong with going and liking someone else's post or tweet, sharing someone else's post. You don't lose anything from that. In fact, your community sees value in you sharing that kind of content. So collaboration is key, partnering is key, and that's one thing we've developed within Geek Culture. We are not pro Microsoft only. We're not pro Amazon. We are pro technology. We are pro the growth of our community. And if it means we have to work with two organizations that are competition, we will do that as long as our community benefits from it.
Wow, wow, well said. Like, hey, I wonder if people are hearing this good stuff because it's really, really insightful. And you mentioned a major topic about collaboration because that's
Yeah.
one thing that we're all struggling with. And I was like, am I the only one seeing it? Or like, I'm glad to see that there are other people who are witnessing this. And through Geek Culture and through Inspire SA, that this is what we're trying to battle, in fact, combat. And I would honestly like to inspire SA and Geek Culture to to work on some projects here and there, to all in the name of tech. I know over here we powered by the Microsoft Student Ambassador Program, but yeah, that's where it all started from the
Yeah.
Ambassador Program. But other in the name of tech, I look forward to some major big project with Geek Culture. So, speaking about geek culture, can you tell us what started geek culture? Or I think you've mentioned it, but maybe not directly. But can you tell us what started geek culture? What was up with it? Can you tell us more about that?
All right. So geek culture piggybacked on the Facebook innovators.it group. So there was a group that we created, and that group was really all about sharing knowledge, sharing information, and then got an opportunity to be based at MLab. And then in 2013, created Facebook. I mean, not Facebook. I wish. Created Geek Culture with an aim of taking the concept and activities that were happening within innovators.it and bringing them to life, So geek
Mm,
culture, really, the name is really about geeks and the culture of geeks. When the world thinks of geeks, they think about people that sit behind the computer all day. They think about people that are antisocial. And really what we wanted to show that it's beyond that, there is a particular culture. Yes, they love technology. Unfortunately, some of them love spending lots of time behind a computer, which is
mm,
absolutely not wrong. But these are some of the smartest people you can come across, and they love things that normal people do. Geeks are not that antisocial as people tend to think, But the idea behind it is let's create a platform where young people in the tech space can feel like they belong too, can feel like they are part of this kind of movement. They can learn, they can express themselves, they can connect easily with industry leaders, because that's one of the biggest things that we do. It's all about bringing young people together so that they can learn from each other. Peer-to-peer learning is very important for us. They can share their knowledge. They can collaborate. So we believe a lot in collaboration on projects, whether you're from the same institution, different institutions, but most importantly, they can network with industry leaders, like I mentioned earlier, where you get to learn about certain organizations outside where they are. You get to learn about them, outside the theoretical side, but more on a practical front, So those are some of the things that we wanted to do with and achieve with Geek Culture. But most importantly, encourage young people to put their skills to work. Because as a country, that's some of the biggest challenges that we're facing, where companies are saying they can't find skilled people, but only to find that there are a lot of skilled young people. It's just the biggest thing is they don't know how to package their skills. They don't know how to package their talent, and that's one of the things that we're trying to achieve within Geek Culture. To say we are able to create this platform where you can connect with industry leaders in a much more easier environment.
wow, 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 wow. That's really insightful with how geek culture was formed. I guess it's really so basically trying to help young minds who are interested in tech to salvage their skill to make the best and make the best opportunity out of it. Basically, from my understanding.
Yeah,
But
so that's sorry about that. Really all about young people who are interested in technology. I like how you put it, interested in technology. So you don't necessarily have to be studying in the tech space. You could be literally from any field, but have a keen interest in technology. But at the same time, we are introducing people from, marginalized communities who've never had such opportunities to say, well, here's the basic elements of computers. Here's the basics of coding. Learn, right, for your own sake, gain the necessary digital skills, then you can decide if you want to pursue that career field, or you could at least, it could open another different field for you, you know. So it's all about that exposure to the tech world, so that we hope a lot of them do grab and get hooked into the tech side of things. But if not, at least you understand that your cell phone is one of the most powerful computers in your pocket. It's not just about Instagram and chatting. There's a lot more you can actually do with it, you know. Whether you're from deep rural Guyana or wherever else you're from, you know, at least you know that, okay, I've got a powerful device. I can do one, two, three, four, five with it. I can search opportunities. I can network. I can connect with people. And that's what we're really trying to achieve.
Awesome, awesome. We got a question from the chat. We got Spelele asking, how does one become a part of geek culture? And just to add on to that, I've seen a lot of awards from geek culture, top 15 minds, like something like that. But
Yeah.
I'll need to explain.
All right. So the first thing, Spay, I want to do is the correction on the spelling. So it's geek culture. I'm going to put it on the chat. Essentially, it's GeeKulcha. And what we've done is we've fused the two words, geek and culture, and we're like, well, we are young people. We can create whatever we want, and we came up with the word geek culture. So it is a fusion of those two words, geek and culture. That's the starting point. The second part, the easiest way of joining Geek Culture is following our activities on social media. We're very heavy on social media, especially Twitter. Every single day, there's different updates of opportunities, of events. We're sharing inspiring content of what other young people are doing. And just to answer your question on the top 15 young geeks, this is an annual um, celebration and recognition we have at Geek Culture of young people across the country. So the idea is really to say, well, we might not know who's sitting in KZN. We don't know who's sitting in Eastern Cape. We don't know who's sitting in Free State, right? But they might be doing some really great stuff. So we open it to the public and say, nominate someone that you know is doing amazing stuff within your community, right? Nominate them, right? And then make people aware of them. And we filter it down until we find the top 15. And this top 15 is really a combination of the community has nominated the people. There's external judges that help select those individuals. And we just literally do that, celebrate them for the whole month of June. Wherever we can get radio slots, publications for them, we go ahead and we do that. But it becomes an opportunity for the rest of the country to see what local South Africans are doing, local young kids are doing in the different spaces within South Africa and tech, you know. So that's what we're doing within top 15 young gigs. There's also Geek Culture Student Societies. Um, these are societies within universities. So we are busy planting them in your traditional universities, in your TVET colleges, as a build up to September. So September is our Geek Culture Student Society month, college month, and essentially we use the Geek Culture Student Societies to plant geek culture activities on campuses, but the activities are run and managed by students within those particular campuses because they understand everything about the campus, they understand the needs of the students, they understand how to work with the different students. So that's another way of joining the different geek culture movements. And yeah, we always have crazy hackathons, amazing virtual hackathons. That's how you can also get involved. And once we are physical and you can easily move around, our hackathons have amazing food as well. So that's another grabber to join geek culture.
Wow. Yeah, my friend Homo once told me, if you want people to attend, just offer them food. That's the advice
Yeah,
he's
no,
giving.
people love their food, but make sure you combine that food with knowledge,
Mm,
because you know when they are full, they'll actually think about the stuff that they've learned. So yeah, that's a good food for thought there.
yeah, thanks for that. That's really, really insightful. Yeah, now I've heard about geek culture all these years, but I never knew what it was about. Now I know. Now I know.
Right.
So it's almost time. So the last aspect of our conversation will be about academia. So you
Yeah.
mentioned geek culture is part of academia, that it gets involved with the universities, the colleges, etc. So
Mm.
um, can you also tell us more about that? Like, in fact, also as Inspire say, we're also trying to get into universities, go to universities, talk and introduce them to just these technologies that we have right now, So can
Mm.
you tell us more about that?
Right. So yeah, as I said, the Geek Culture Student Society, we have over 30 chapters
Mm,
across the country. So there's presence in all 9 provinces. And these chapters are not just your traditional universities, but they're like TVET colleges as well. As far as Limpopo, Northwest, PE, that's some of the presence that we have. And essentially, this is young people on campus who come together and say, look, I would like to start a chapter, and I'd like to run a chapter on campus. Then they find like-minded people, and then they work together with them. They form as a committee that has different people that play different roles, and obviously they engage with the institution. Some of them end up registering as parts of a institution, so they get proper recognition from
mm,
the institutions. One thing that geek culture student societies do is, as much as they drive the geek culture mandate, right, they are also not restricted to partnering with anyone else. So, for example, they can partner with Inspire SA, they can partner with EWB, they can
mm.
partner with Enactus. They're able to partner across different student societies on campus, because their main role is bringing all these things together. But the biggest drive and biggest goal is to introduce and take care of students, and show them about the tech world, expose them to tech related things, less about just your talk shows, but helping them. So some of the things that they do, for example, in Northern Cape, they started something. Uh, forgot
It's
forgot
fine.
the initiative. But essentially, what happens is, it's the leaders that spot a lack among students, so they can help students with their coding challenges. They can help
Mm,
students prepare for their exams. There was a time that some of them could help fix laptops. So those are the type of things that students are doing to better their fellow students.
wow, wow, really wonderful initiatives, and we are not the only one to make an impact. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think we should explore how we can actually work together,
mm,
especially in this upcoming month, and see, how can we leverage on both our audience, our networks, just to make sure that we have that common goal as well and achieve that common goal.
I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So the last thing that I would like to say is more of a comment. So did you like when you studied in university there in TUT? Did you think about this impact that you have done, that you have made, the impact that you've done on students, on other people that you have met, individuals? Did you just imagine you be here where you are today? I know that's like it's like a stupid question, but it's really I gotta give you credit for it because it's not easy. I was even telling Homo the other day, or even you were involved also. I was telling him that look, see, it was the six of you who started back then, and now we are 31. Just look how things have gone. So did you see yourself, like, did you see it coming? Was it like a motivation in you to speed up the initiative?
Um, One thing I knew, and I think I was very focused on, is that I didn't want to go the university route. That was more for my parents.
Mm,
I felt like, I was learning a lot more outside. So that's one thing I definitely knew, that I definitely didn't want to go to the university route, even though I did. But in terms of the impact and everything that has happened, um, it wasn't a matter of I don't think I would say I knew it would be like that. But I guess it's one of those things of helping people where you sit and look at your mirror and say, what's that one thing that you're passionate about? What's that one thing that you can do without failure? And for me, it's always been about helping people, networking with people, connecting with people. So that was an easy transition and an easy thing to do, you know. So that's one thing I knew I was definitely able to do. But in terms of the impact, like I said, the impact is definitely a contribution of a lot of factors, being at the right place, having the right people. There's so many people that have done so many great things that it's not even me who did them. They came up with amazing initiatives. Like my partner Diani, is an amazing guy. He's done so many amazing things. To make sure what geek culture is. There's so many people that have come and have left, but have played their role in contributing to what geek culture is today. So yeah, definitely didn't know it would get this far, but now that we're here, we definitely know that we are not where we're supposed to be. There's a lot of havoc that we're still gonna cause. There's a lot of disruption we're still gonna cause, but definitely more impact amongst young people. And we have covered all the 9 provinces in South Africa. There's nothing stopping us from covering as many places on the African continent. So that part, now we know that we're capable, and we won't be too much surprised when it happens.
Wow, awesome. Really, really, really insightful. I'm glad we had this discussion. It just
Yeah.
opened up a lot for me personally, opened up a lot for our viewers, so I'm really glad we had this discussion. To end off the show, would you like to give any advice or say a last few words before we end off the show?
So for me, is the best advice or last advice I can give to anyone listening is don't sit in your little corner and try to solve problems in your little corner alone. If you have an idea, run it through someone. I know you might be fearing that someone will steal your idea. Make sure you don't tell them everything about your idea. Tell them as enough for them to understand. And the other thing is, we all have ideas, but it's execution that's important. And what sits in your brain, you might not execute the same way as someone else. That's the first thing I'll tell. The other thing is, grab as many opportunities as possible. Expose yourself to as many things as possible. School is great, but as we can see, school is facing its own challenges. The academic institutions are facing their own challenges. You have to go and play your extra role and expose yourself to things out there yourself. And if you can do that, if you can network, if you can get involved in other chapters, initiatives on campus, it will open more doors for you.
Awesome, awesome. Well said. Like I'm also taking that for myself, like for myself going forward. So yeah, Miklo, thank you again for coming onto the show. We've come to the end of the show of our airing time, in fact. And I would love to continue asking more questions here and there. I'm full of questions. I never know when to start asking. Especially when it's something that will help me. I think they must also note that ask questions, especially when
Yes.
you're talking to someone who like, I wouldn't say has done it all, but more experienced than you. So I would also recommend that ask questions.
No, definitely ask as many questions. There is really no wrong answer, wrong question.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, may you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we'll be in touch for moving forward in our partnership between Inspire SA and Geek Culture. I look forward to it. I
All
really
right.
look
No,
forward.
thanks for the invite. I really enjoyed it and looking forward to future collaborations.
Awesome. I may see you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, man.
Mhm. So there you go, and there you have it. That's the end of our interview with Micho from Geek Culture. It was a really insightful interview that we've had. A really insightful discussion. I was taking notes here and there. So there's more to come. Like I said, this is just season 2. I hope we can even have a season 10, just inspiring people here and there, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So Don't forget to join us tomorrow for AI Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be continuing making our face recognition app using more code. We'll be coding it. So we started off last week. We're gonna finish off tomorrow, and hopefully we can start on natural language processing using AI. So for AI Tuesday, and some more awesome content coming on your way. Don't forget to subscribe on our channel Inspire SA and follow us on our social media handles. And last but not least, may you enjoy your rest of your afternoon and see you tomorrow for AI Tuesday. Yeah, see you tomorrow.